Starting the night of December 10th, at least 59 twisters carved through 10 states, a swarm you wouldn't expect 2 weeks before winter.
December 10th, 2021. Still far from Mayfield, a dark and powerful tornado is developing. What seemed like a routine day for residents of Mayfield ended in one of the worst tornado disasters ever recorded. A tornado that would change lives forever. December the 10th began just like any other morning. In fact, it was actually warm and pretty pleasant, which was surprising, since it was supposed to be another dreadful winter morning. With Christmas just 15 days away, residents prepared for the upcoming holiday season and went about their day in the usual manner. Little did they know that as daylight would fade, a monster of epic proportions would be a rude intruder to their lives.
There is rotation, but what caught his eye was an area of high density in the sky.
A lot of crucial meteorological things need to go right for such destructive and potent thunderstorms and persistent tornadoes to form. This is what happened here when the jet stream dipped south to the central United States, bringing with it powerful, strong winds. Simultaneously, a surface low-pressure system drew warm, moisture-laden air from the Gulf of Mexico northward into the lower Mississippi and Tennessee valleys. To top it all, December the 10th witnessed unusually high temperatures, shattering daily records and reaching the 70s and 80s. This atmospheric setup was perfect for the developments of powerful storms, and meteorologists took notice of it. It was 3 p.m. when the SPC, Storm Prediction Center, issued a tornado watch for the areas that were under the highest risk.
In far western Kentucky, southeastern Missouri, northeastern Arkansas, where there has been a history of some long track, deadly tornadoes out to the west. So we all need to be taking this very seriously.
This included areas of East Arkansas, northeast Kentucky, West Tennessee, northwest Mississippi, southeast Missouri, and certain regions of Indiana and Illinois. The scene has been set. The domino effect would begin, and one after another, places would see damage, debris, and unfortunately, untimely deaths.
The severe weather threat, basically, we're watching it very closely now, all the way through about 8 o'clock in the morning. I think damaging winds going to be your highest threat through the overnight.
Storms raged initially in northeastern Arkansas, and with time drifted to the northeastern regions. A supercell formed, and by 7 p.m., the first of the many tornadoes made its appearance. Local residents and adventurous storm chasers observed various other tornadoes, albeit they were thankfully weaker in strength. The supercell continued its journey of destruction towards Jonesboro, producing its 5th tornado, but the first major and violent one so far. It was 7 minutes past 7 p.m. when the first damages were being caused. The tornado quickly intensified from EF4 to EF3 strength and struck the city of Monette. Monette was the venue that would see the first death in this tornado. 2 people died and 5 were injured, while many over 20 people were trapped in Monette Manor Nursing Home. As the harrowing chronicles of that fateful night continued, a ferocious and enduring tornado swept into Fulton County, Kentucky, from its origin in Obion County, Tennessee, just shy of 9 p.m. CST. The unsuspecting community of Cayce bore the brunt of its wrath at precisely 9:01 p.m. With a relentless force, the tornado unleashed EF4 destruction upon Cayce, obliterating structures and reducing family homes to mere remnants. Advancing its destructive path, the tempest arrived in Hickman County by 9:06 p.m., leaving a trail of wreckage with 40 buildings damaged, a dozen of them reduced to rubble. Continuing its relentless journey northeastward, the tornado stormed through Graves County, reaching the city of Mayfield at 9:26 p.m. In Mayfield's heart, the tornado wreaked havoc, laying waste to the downtown historic district. The toll was staggering: more than 3,778 residences, 183 commercial properties, and 103 other structures bore the scars of devastation, including the county courthouse and the Mayfield Consumer Products candle factory. Approximately 110 individuals found themselves stranded at the Mayfield Consumer Products candle factory when the tornado struck, resulting in the complete leveling of the structure and the displacement of industrial vehicles. Tragically, 8 employees lost their lives and several others sustained injuries. There were claims that workers were allegedly warned of potential job consequences if they left the factory premises between the first and second tornado warnings for the region, and again after the second warning. The fatalities among the factory workers triggered a state-led investigation into the facility's safety protocols. Amid the wreckage and ruin, Graves County counted 24 lives lost and over 200 souls wounded. The chilling echoes of that calamitous night would forever etch a somber chapter in the annals of this community's history.
We continue to follow the latest out of Marshall County this morning as so many wake up without power and homes.
Many there now picking up the pieces after that devastating tornado struck dozens of homes.
Continuing its relentless rampage, the tornado exhibited no signs of relenting post-Mayfield, pressing on with unbridled fury through the rural landscapes of eastern Graves County and the western expanse of Marshall County. Within dense forested areas, the tempest's voracious wrath uprooted thousands of trees, leaving a stark reminder of its force. Agricultural structures succumbed, and the tornado's wrath extended to obliterate electrical and communication lines. In Marshall County, the tempest charted a menacing course along the northwest edge of Benton between 9:45 and 9:50 p.m., boasting estimated peak wind speeds of a staggering 140 miles per hour. Venturing 7 miles north to the quaint town of Bryansburg, evidence of the tornado's might lingered. A handful of homes witnessed large sections of roofs ripped away, though most walls defiantly stood. Barns and farm outbuildings on the town's periphery were not spared. Their roofs collapsed in the wake of the storm's ferocity. The destructive journey pressed forth over US Highway 68, a path marked by annihilated power lines and crumpled metal truss towers. The vortex reached the Cambridge Shores community on the western fringes of Kentucky Lake by 9:57 p.m., leaving behind a devastating mark. Here, the tornado exacted EF4 damage, reducing several homes to rubble, with collapsed walls, torn-off roofs, and uprooted hardwood trees. Tragically, one soul perished in this tumultuous maelstrom. Lives and properties were being torn apart, and the numbers, both of people killed and material destruction, kept rising. Crossing Kentucky Lake, the tempest lashed out across the land between the lake's national recreation area, leaving in its wake a haunting scene of desolation. Thousands of trees were uprooted by the tornado's might. Crossing Lake Barkley on the eastern periphery of the recreation area, the tornado now found itself in Lyon County. On the western shore of Lake Barkley, near Eddyville, another life was claimed by the storm's wrath, a solemn reminder of the helplessness humans face in front of natural calamities.
Well, Caldwell County had this morning's first tornado touchdown.
Neighbors in Caldwell County have been facing storms all day today. You can see behind me that crews are working on power lines after they say that...
At 10:14 p.m., the tornado entered Caldwell County, inflicting its most severe damage just south of Princeton. The neighborhood adjacent to the Princeton Golf and Country Club bore the brunt at 10:18 p.m., with multiple structures succumbing to EF4 tornado devastation. Numerous family residences suffered substantial losses, including significant roof damage, collapsed chimneys, and garage doors twisted from their frames, and walls mercilessly folded, leaving behind shattered glass and broken windows. The tornado passed its closest point to Princeton around 10:21 p.m. On the southern outskirts of the city, the University of Kentucky Research and Education Center endured severe structural damage, and in a tumultuous display, dozens of vehicles were hurled hundreds of yards away from the building's parking lot. Continuing its northeastward trajectory, the tornado entered Dawson Springs in the far eastern reaches of Hopkins County at 10:32 p.m., maintaining its brutal EF4 intensity. In this segment, a multitude of homes and structures faced catastrophic destruction. The most severe impact unfolded near the Dawson Springs Park, where numerous homes, including a few low-rise apartment buildings, were utterly obliterated. Tragically, 15 residents of Dawson Springs lost their lives in this area. Moving beyond Dawson Springs and Interstate 69, the tornado left a trail of damage, affecting small barns, farm outbuildings, and manufactured homes with separated roofs and walls. South of Arlington, the tempest unleashed further chaos, derailing a train and displacing several rail cars several feet up an embankment alongside the railroad tracks. The toll in Hopkins County was staggering, with 15 fatalities, over 200 injuries, and more than 1,500 structures left damaged in the tornado's wake. Around 10:55 p.m., the tornado exited Hopkins County, entering Muhlenberg County and reaching the small community of Bremen at 11 p.m. Here, several homes faced catastrophic EF4 damage, and the tornado claimed the lives of 11 residents in a town with a population of 300. Leaving Bremen, the tornado traversed mainly rural areas of eastern Muhlenberg, Ohio, Breckenridge, and Grayson counties. While most of the damage in this expanse was confined to farm buildings.
A tornado on the ground in Hopkins County, getting reports it's crossing Highway 11 at 269. There are power lines that are down there. Also getting reports there of some damage reported in Picton.
Some homes near the town of Hartford in Ohio County endured EF3 damage. The tornado eventually weakened and dissipated near the Falls of Rough in Grayson County at 11:55 p.m. Could it have been EF5 intensity? Timothy Marshall, a meteorologist, structural and forensic engineer, collaborated with Zachary B. Weinhoff from Haag Engineering Company, Christine L. Walgos from the National Weather Service of Paducah, and Brian E. Smith from the National Weather Service of Omaha to conduct a damage survey of sections along the tornado's path, particularly in Mayfield and Dawson Springs. The findings of their report suggest that the tornado's damage rating could have been higher if it had encountered more wind-resistant structures. Additionally, the tornado's high forward speed resulted in limited exposure of strong winds over buildings, indicating that damage might have been more severe if the tornado had moved at a slower pace. In 2023, Marshall remarked that the Western Kentucky tornado was the closest to an EF5 rating he could recall since the Moore EF5 in 2013. He also noted that some of the structures hit by the strongest winds were poorly constructed and incapable of withstanding winds ranging from 100 to 150 miles per hour, making it challenging to determine if EF5 level winds affected them. Over its relentless journey, spanning approximately 165 miles in about 3 hours, the tornado left behind a devastating toll. 57 lives lost, over 515 individuals injured. Notably, this tornado occurring in December marked the deadliest in US history for that month. Its path length of 165 miles ranked as the 9th longest ever recorded in the country, with winds reaching a speed of 190 miles per hour. The broader tornado outbreak in western Kentucky on this ominous night incurred damage costs reaching up to $3.5 billion. More than 2 years have passed, but the community is still bouncing back from the aftereffects of this violent tornado. Dozens of people joined the Mayfield Memorial Walk 2 years after the incident and walked miles in the rain from the old candle factory to the memorial at the old Mayfield courthouse to remember the lives lost with every step they took. Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear spoke at the memorial event and dedicated 5 more homes to tornado survivors. This is part of the administration's decision to fund 300 homes, 158 of which have been done so far. A beautiful gesture indeed, and much needed support for the community that is looking forward to move on from the night of death and destruction.